Meanwhile, the Bharatiya Janata Party has called it the Congress's politicking. Amidst all of this political drama, let me tell you that the inauguration's timing is also adding fuel to fire. The inauguration will be taking place on May 28th, which is around the same time the National Democratic Alliance will be completing 9 years in office. Not just that, the inauguration will also coincide with the 140th birth anniversary of Hindu ideologue Veer Savarkar. Before I go any further with my guest, let me straight across go to Madhav, who is joining us from our Delhi newsroom. Hi, Madhav. Good evening. Good to see you. First things first, we do remember in 2019 when the National War Memorial was inaugurated. It was inaugurated by the Prime Minister of this country. Jabki all of us know that it is the president who is the supreme commander of the armed forces. There was much criticism then, but that criticism was ignored. Will the BJP and the Modi government be able to avoid the criticism this time? Because we know that it's not the Prime Minister who's the head of Parliament. The boss of Parliament actually, technically, is the President of India.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, Article 79 of the Constitution specifies that, and I'm just quoting, that the Constitution of, as per the Article 79 of the Constitution, the Council of the Parliament of the Union consists of the President and the two houses known as the Council of States, that's the Raj Sabha, and the House of the People, that's known as the Lok Sabha. Several articles that, in fact, Shashi Tharoor also referred to today. But let's look at this in context. This has been a contentious move right from the word go. From the construction of Central Vista project, taking it up during the course of the pandemic, an opposition criticizing what they felt was wasteful expenditure at a time like that, to the actual, inauguration of the building, to the Sarnath lines on top of it, the Ashoka lines on top of it. All of these have been controversies that we've been seeing. But now Mallikarjun Kharge, in fact, making two very important points coming in fact from the Congress, where he has said, A, that when there was a Dalit president, there was the inauguration of the foundation stone laying. That time he was not invited, and now when there is a tribal president, the president has not been invited for the formal opening or the inauguration of the parliament complex, saying that this is mere tokenism on part of the BJP and that this is something that the party does not believe in. Jairam Ramesh has also similarly tweeted a few days ago saying that in Hiroshima, when the Prime Minister inaugurated the bust of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, at the same time the new parliament building that is being inaugurated, all of that is happening on the 28th, which is the anniversary of Veer Savarkar, who is, or whose ideology is in some way supposed to have influenced the killers of Mahatma Gandhi. So these attacks have been coming. We can expect the opposition to continue to mount those attacks over the next 1 week in the run-up to the inauguration of Parliament. The BJP, of its own part, says that this is a party that has disrespected Parliament and has disrespected its own prime ministers in the past, so it has no right to go ahead and talk on this issue. They also say that the demand for a new Parliament was documented, it's on letter, it's on paper, right from the UPA regime. So that's a defense coming in from the BJP side. But remember that with the new Parliament building being inaugurated on Sunday, one can expect this issue to only snowball right up until then. And this, of course, will be the latest contention, the latest flashpoint between the government and the opposition parties. However, what really is the specifics as far as the president being the head of the parliament, constitutionally speaking, is a question that the BJP is yet to throw more light on. Back to you, Shreya.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mother, for joining us. And let me ask that question to Mr. R.S. Pathania, who's the BJP spokesperson on this broadcast. Hello, Mr. Pathania. Good evening. Good to see you. Jebi Mather is a Rajya Sabha MP from the Congress, joining us on the broadcast as well. And Neerja Chowdhury is a senior journalist, will be putting the story in perspective for us. Thank you very much. Mr. R.S. Pathania, obviously, I'm going to start with you. You're representing the BJP this evening, and I want to ask you this. 21 years ago, I do remember very clearly that Parliament's library had to be inaugurated, and and do you remember who inaugurated the library? It was the President of India. It was President Narayan at that point of time. He had come to inaugurate the library of a president. Now, Mr. Pathania, hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Hi.
Hello, good evening. Good evening. I'm just settled down. Please.
Yeah, okay. You need another minute to settle your frame, or are you okay?
No, I'm ready. I'm ready. You can please put a question, please.
Acha, theek hai.
Yes,
so,
please. Yes,
Mr. Pathania, my question to you is this.
Please.
My question to you is this. 21 years ago, I wonder whether you remember this or not. Parliament's library had to be inaugurated. And it
Yes.
was only fitting that the president do it, and President Narayan had inaugurated the library of the
Yes.
parliament at that point of time, because the constitution tells us who's the boss of parliament. It is the president of India who's the boss of parliament.
Yes.
Please give me one good reason why it is the prime minister who should inaugurate the new building and not the president of this country.
I I I want to put an inverse question. One good reason why PM should not inaugurate and president should inaugurate. You see, with due respect and all responsibility, Congress and the uncrowned Yuvraj of Congress, who's not even a member parliament, who's not even an office bearer of the Congress at AICC, PCC, block or district level, he's calling the shots. This is narcissism, this is negativity, and this is Naviate of Congress at its best. First, they were trying to oppose that Central Vista project. This project landed in the Supreme Court also. First of all, in the Delhi High Court and then in the Supreme Court. Both the High Court as well as the Supreme Court put in their stamp and rather imprimatur of the Honorable High Court and that of the Supreme Court also. You see, the changes the law of nature, and nothing is permanent except change. We want, and rather the government wants to shed the baggage of history. They want to form a defense enclave. They want to form a united blocks of all the ministries as well as the PM residence. They want to decongest the Delhi. They want to create the older Delhi as a part of the older museum. We don't want to shun it also. Why at the drop of an every hat, the Congress and Congress uncrowned Yuvraj, they are out and out to create issues out of thin air and just trying to amuse the media at the local or the national or even at the international level, just by putting certain mischievous, certain misfounded, certain uncontrolled tweets and all that. My very, very simple and sincere advice to them: you are here to espouse public issues. You need to come out with public issues. You shouldn't pursue, as I use, narcissism, negativity, and deviates also. People judge you by your performance, by the way you behave.
Let J.B. Mathur.
Just one quote. Your forefather.
Let J.B. Mathur respond to that.
Just one quote, madam. Just one quote.
Forefather पे मत जाइए, भाई रुक जाइए. अभी forefather, no, Mr. Pathania, forefather पे थोड़ी देर में चले जाइएगा.
Please.
अरे wait. Forefather पे we'll go later. Now don't.
Just let
J.B. Mathur come in. J.B. Mathur.
Nehruji said how opposition should behave. He should come to know. It's a good inventory. Everybody should take an instance from it. It's a copybook statement. He says that government is like a bicycle and opposition is like a brake. But always the brake should be constructionist. It should not be obstructionist. You shouldn't try to obstruct and pick hold with the functioning of the government at the drop of an hat. This is what Jawaharlal said on the floor of the parliament. This is my one very simple and sincere advice to Congress.
So J.B. Mathur essentially.
Please.
Okay, J.B. Mathur, so essentially here's what the BJP is saying. The question that I asked them, J.B., was why, give me one good reason why the Prime Minister of this country should be inaugurating the new parliament and not the president. They said, why not? And the charge coming against you and the Congress party is that you're mischief makers and that you're obstructionists and you have a problem with everything that the BJP government does.
When they have no valid thing to explain, it's quite natural. BJP representative gets very hyper excited about it. Let me take you to Article 79 of the Constitution. What does Article 79 of the Constitution say? It defines Parliament. There shall be a Parliament for the Union which shall consist of the President and two houses to be known respectively as the Council of States and the House of People. Let me also take you to Article 86 of the Constitution. So it says that two other houses, the president may address either house or both houses assembled together, and at the commencement of the first session after each general election to the House of the People and at the commencement of the first session of each year, the president shall address both houses assembled together and inform Parliament of the causes of its summons. Article 87. So, see, isn't it amply clear that who is who heads the Parliament? It is naturally the president. And who is the first citizen of our country? First citizen of our country is the president. Now, may I ask, is it because that Madam President Droupadi Murmu belongs to a tribal community, that they want BJP and the RSS want to keep Madam President away from the inauguration. I want to further ask, is it because she's a woman that BJP and RSS want to keep Madam President away from away from the inauguration? It is very, because RSS ideology is, they do not respect women. I feel very, very insulted as a woman that we were proud that we have a woman as a president of India, but now BJP has degraded
Okay.
our Madam President, the President of India, to mere tokenism, and she's being kept away from the most important event which she should be doing it. Otherwise, see, the Article 79 of the Constitution do not say there shall be a parliament for the union which shall consist of the Prime Minister and two houses to be known respectively. See, it doesn't say, Article 86 doesn't say at the commencement of the first session of each general election, the president shall address both houses assembled together. So why is it that BJP don't understand the constitution language, which there are many reasons that BJP do not understand the constitution of India. But this is very clear. BJP is degrading the president of India. And that is one part of it. Second part of it, it is very unfortunate that Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone. That time also the president is avoided. Now Prime Minister wants to inaugurate. That time also president is avoided. So, it's kind of obsession with inauguration, obsession with cameras, obsession with that every focus should be on the Prime Minister. So why do you even think or do that? When there is a president, why she is not given the importance? Why is it that president is always sidelined? They should be answering that. They should be answering that what Article 89, 86 and 87 says,
JB,
and
all
what
right, you've made your point.
79 says.
You've made your point, and I think all those all those articles from the Constitution are on our screens as well for our viewers to read. Mr. Pathania, क्या करें अब Constitution का? Fortunately or unfortunately, the Constitution tells us that the boss of Parliament is the President, and the President is also the first citizen of this country. So should not the first citizen of this country be leading this country and representing this country when the People's Parliament is inaugurated? अब है Constitution में जो लिखा हुआ तो है ही ना.
I put the Congress leaders and the esteemed Mahila member Parliament, with due respect for her also, with specific law, not to speak of the Constitution, just quote me an executive instruction with mandates that the new Parliament building necessarily, mandatorily, without any skip, needs to be inaugurated by the Honorable President. We have due respect for the Honorable President, a tribal lady, from a very humble background, has been ultimately been the consensus candidate.
What is the problem if she inaugurates it? Mr. Pathania, what is the problem if she inaugurates it?
My respect.
What is the problem if she inaugurates it? What was the problem if she inaugurated the National War Memorial in 2019? The president of this country is the supreme commander of our armed forces. What is the problem if she inaugurated the War Memorial instead of the Prime Minister? What is the problem if now she inaugurates the new Parliament instead of the Prime Minister of India? I respect the Prime Minister of India. I am also saying it on record that it was the Prime Minister of India who pushed for the National War Memorial to be made. That request had been hanging in this country for the last 20 to 30 years. So I respect the Prime Minister for doing it. We know that the new Parliament is the vision, and some people call it the vanity project of the Prime Minister of India. I accept all of that. But there is something called propriety. That's another debate. But there is something called propriety in public life. And the proper thing to do, Mr. Pathania, is that when the new Parliament building is inaugurated, it is inaugurated by the President of India and not the Prime Minister.
Madam Shreya, my very respectful submission. This is part of a hate campaign of particularly Congress and its leader for Narendra Modi ji. Just why don't they hate Narendra Modi ji? Narendra Modi ji is the honorable Prime Minister. He is the elected Prime Minister of this country. Why do you hate him so much? I want to put them a question. you you have been trying to spread messages of, he said, peace ka jeet hua, shanti ka jeet hua. I am the propagator of it. Why do you hate Narendra Modi ji and Bharatiya Janata Party so much? We are the elected people, sir. We are again and again being elected by the people of India and not by virtue of a backdoor. So just to trying to deflect the debate that a 2100 crore central vista project which seeks to transform the virtual landscape and political landscape of the country, which itself stands as a bold annal on the score of the history of the national capital. Telangana did it.
So does that mean
Chhattisgarh also did it.
Murmu president
Mr.
is not
Pathania,
eligible?
Naya Raipur also did it. Why do you want to pick unnecessary holes into it, madam? The Honorable President would be addressing the joint session of both the houses of the Parliament in the new building also. So once my respectful submission.
The next thing you will say is let the Prime Minister address both houses.
I'll once again quote Jawaharlal Nehru ji, the Speaker represents
because
the
if
House
propriety is not followed on two occasions, there is no reason for it to be followed on a third occasion.
Madam, that's not a question of creating a debate of a president versus the Prime Minister. If the Honorable Member of Parliament, if the Honorable Speaker, if the Honorable
Mr.
elected
Pathania,
people,
fact is you are accusing the Congress
decide.
party of hating the Prime Minister.
Yes, that's what they do, madam. That's what they do.
In the collective wisdom of their collective wisdom, our founding fathers defined the role for the President of India. It's in the Constitution. Now there is something called propriety. If rules were followed, if everything was done properly, then the President of India should be the one who should have been inaugurating the new Parliament, right? Now, look. I'm not a Prime Minister Modi hater. You're saying the Congress hates the Prime Minister. That's why they're asking all these questions. I don't hate the Prime Minister of this country. In fact, I vote for the BJP, right? But even I have that question. Why is propriety being pushed to the side? Even I have that question. And that question is a genuine question. I had that question in 2019 when the National War Memorial was inaugurated by the Prime Minister, and I have that question now also as a citizen of this country. Neerja Chowdhury, not as a citizen, but as a senior journalist in this country who's seen many governments come and go. Can I ask you what you make of this entire controversy that is playing out between not just the Congress and BJP, but between the BJP and the entire opposition?
Look, I would say at the outset that this has nothing to do with whether Congress is a mischief maker, nor is it anything to do with whether a Dalit, whether a tribal president is being disregarded, or a Dalit president was disregarded when the foundation was laid. Or, the BJP spokesperson even went to the extent of calling Rahul Gandhi a bad omen. All these things are absolutely unnecessary. The central question has been posed by you. The definition of parliament, which comprises the president and the two houses. And of course, there is the executive and there is the opposition. Therefore, constitutionally speaking, yes, it would have been better for the president to have inaugurated the new parliament building. Now we all know it is a prime minister's baby. He's pushed it, and he's pushed it in the teeth of huge opposition. And as you said, it has been his vision. I mean, it's perfectly understandable that he would desire to inaugurate it. But, it is a parliament building. Many of us have criticized it. I, as an old school person, felt the present parliament building could have been renovated. But now that the new parliament building is about to be opened, and this is a building made in independent, free India. It is not a building that was made in colonial rule. So there is a certain significance attached to it. And I feel it would have been better had the constitutional proprieties been adhered to. And it does not take away from the fact that the Prime Minister has personally pushed for it. That credit would go to him anyway. But there are the constitutional proprieties which are very important in a parliamentary democracy, even though this is tokenism. The president has a tokenistic role. But still, these proprieties are important.
Mr. Pathania, would you want to say anything? I'm coming to the fag end of this debate. Would you want to respond to what Neerja is saying? No one is taking away the credit from the Prime Minister. Look, 1,200. Now, it's debatable whether we needed a new parliament or not. But the time for that debate is long gone. 1,200 crore rupees of the taxpayers' money has already been spent on the new parliament. So let's celebrate the new parliament instead of criticizing it and, asking questions about whether it was required or not. I can tell you that there are many capitals in Europe where their parliaments are some 400, 300-year-old. And they are doing perfectly well. Maybe ours could have sufficed as well. But as I said, that debate is long done and dusted. Let's not get there. Let's not get to the fact that 1,200 crore rupees have already been spent on this parliament. Point is, there is something called constitutional propriety. No one, Mr. Pathania, for a moment is denying that this was the Prime Minister's personal baby. He's the one who pushed for this parliament to become a reality. And it has become a reality in record time. So a big salute and hats off to him. But constitutional propriety भी तो कोई चीज होती है ना मिस्टर पठानिया. हर चीज क्रेडिट आप ही को जाएगा. इनॉग्रेट करने दीजिए प्रेसिडेंट को. उनको तो आपने इनवाइट भी नहीं किया है.
This is just
इनवाइट तक नहीं किया प्रेसिडेंट को. बताइए.
I am not a part of the organizing team of the honorable of the parliament. I think in all wisdom the president might have been invited on the function. I see this is the trifle. The bigger part is that a larger aspect of the matter is that a very, very beautiful and very, very wonderful, a new central vista has come into existence, that even in a record period of time, and that even the other panelists cutting across party lines have come to acquiesce that in the teeth of stiffest opposition from all quarters, from virtually all quarters, if not all, from virtually all quarters. The matter landed in the Honorable Supreme Court. The matter landed in the Delhi High Court. The matter landed with a wolf cry about Corona and all that. That within Corona crisis also the work is being done. The government was challenging discount also.
Mr. Pathania, you're a very good spokesperson.
My respectful
Mr.
submission.
Pathania, you're a very good spokesperson. Do you know why?
Please don't try to mire up with
why?
This
Because you're not answering the question, that one specific question about constitutional propriety that we have been trying to ask you. So you're a good spokesperson. आप इधर-उधर की बात घुमा के आप सवाल का जवाब नहीं दे रहे हैं.
Madam, I'll come direct to it. Just by inauguration of a building by the Honorable Prime Minister, that even which has been decided in the collective wisdom of the Honorable, might have been the Honorable Speakers, the Honorable MP, the Honorable Ministers also, that doesn't undermine the basic principles of constitutional propriety, nor does it undermine the institution of the Honorable
Mr.
President.
Pathania,
she stands tall, she's the head of the state, she's most respectable for each and everybody.
Mr. Pathania, you just said the inauguration of a building. Point is, this is not just any building. Okay, Mr. Pathania, but this is not just any other building. This is the Parliament of India. This is not just any other building. The Prime Minister can go and inaugurate any building he wants to. But this is not any other building. This is the Parliament of India. And constitutional propriety says, Mr. Pathania, that it is the President who should be inaugurating it. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Time up. Time khatam ho gaya mera. Thank you very much, Mr. Pathania, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Namaskar. Is considered as a bad omen by the BJP government and the BJP.
I didn't say, madam.
Arre baapre. Okay, this is escalating things. That is escalating things, and to be fair to Mr. Pathania, that's not what he said. He called Rahul Gandhi a bad omen, not the President of India a bad omen. JB, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Pathania, thanks. Neerja, always good to have you on the show. Thank you very much. With that, it's a wrap from me. Thanks for watching.